Well, I knocked together a quick homebrew Wednesday. I haven't done one for a long time. Just sampling a beer sent to me by the malt miller. There'll be a review up before this of the fresh malt beer kits. It's an amazing beer. I'm stunned how great that is. I mean, obviously it's going to be great from where it comes from, a commercial brewery and that, but the fact you can just take it home, pitch the yeast, bang, you've got 23 litres of, you know, brewery grade beer, and it is just like you'd walked into a bar and you've got a fantastic beer. Anyway, homebrew stuff. I had a bit of a lull in homebrew, and I've done a lot of homebrewing of late. I've got a review coming up soon. I really need to film some more footage for it, for another brewing machine. I've been messing around with that. I've had some ups and downs with it, if I'm honest. Quite a lot of lows with the machine. It's produced some good beer. Well, I thought was good beer, and it's no fault of the machine itself. I think it's purely down to my own practice, because I've had several beers be quite bad and all produced under different conditions. You know, I've had like a no-chill beer go a bit dodgy. I had part of a beer kit experiment go a bit awry, but that's, you know, that's explainable because that was just kind of a messing around type thing, and that video's yet to be uploaded. It may never get uploaded, I don't know. I had a kit, not a kit, I had an all-grain beer fermented under temperature control that just weren't quite right either, which I couldn't work out. You know, think when you've got temperature control, you've got a stainless steel bucket, everything's sanitary, you'd think, you know, nothing could go wrong, but it just shows you things can still go wrong. You know, I don't know, it's not infected. I think the yeast just got stressed, and it's gave the beer a funny taste that just doesn't taste like the beer should taste. So I had that. I've had trials with my stout, trying to not carbonate the bottles and just having it kind of uncarbonated and just the residual yeast that's in the bottle. Hopefully it'll, you know, I've heard you don't need to carbonate bottles. Given enough time, they will produce, you know, ample carbonation for you. So I thought, especially my stouts, I'm going to leave it. Might have made the mistake of trying to open it on quite a warm day, and me thinking there'd be no problem, there'd be no carbonation. I'd got in from work, kids were running around screaming. I opened it up and it just went everywhere. It was like a volcano, and I was unprepared for it, and for some reason I just didn't instantly put it straight to the sink. I turned around with it, I don't know what, in a panic, and it just kind of like sprayed everywhere. Luckily it got cleaned up before the wife got home, but you know, it kind of threw me for a loop, because I thought there's no extra sugar being added to this. What have I done wrong this time? When it had fermented out, it was, you know, it's definitely sort of doing its thing. It had stopped at about 10:09, I think, and it was there for ages, a long time. So I'm putting that down to the warm weather. So what I'm going to do is, the other ones that I've got elsewhere, I'm going to bring home, maybe chill one down and keep one at slightly kind of room temperature, let it sort of warm up a bit and see what they're like, because I can't account for that happening other than the fact they must have just been warm, and whatever CO2 was in it, it just made it shoot everywhere. Other than that, I guess it could have been an infection in the bottle, but the stout actually tasted quite good. It's just the dry stout from the Bible. I think that's what Ben's brewed up recently, and I've done it many times. It's a fantastic recipe. I've had it on keg. It's awesome out of keg, but I can't use the kegs at the moment due to it being warm as well. I found that out recently. I don't know why I forgot that it was in a keg. I had I don't know what beer it was in there. There was a beer in there, and I thought I'll drink that. And I thought the party tap had broken because the beer was just chewing out everywhere. And I keep this keg by my bed, and it's not good when you're spraying beer all over the bedroom. Again, you know, could be in the doghouse for that, but I got it cleaned up. So yeah, I can't quite use the keg at the moment. I have got some ice packs I bought from Poundland, and where I've got the neoprene jacket, I'm hoping to freeze them, put them round the keg, maybe even put that in another cool box, keep it nice and chilled down, and then sort of pour a beer off. But as it stands at the moment, kegging's off, I think. I've got a wheat beer in a keg still, but I'm playing with the idea of chilling that down and getting that out. But other than that, kegs are off for the moment because the temperature's not stable enough. How I've got it set up in the flat, you know, obviously if you've got fridges and that, perfect, but in the flat it's just no go at the moment. So bottling all the way from now on, which is a chore. And I think the other problem I've made of late is kind of brewing too much. It sounds crazy, but having a brewing machine here has enabled me to brew very frequently. And it's like the brewing's fine, I can get all that out of the way and that. When it comes to kind of like it's done fermenting and you've got 3 or 4 containers waiting to be bottled, the thought of bottling, and it's such a chore sometimes, you just kind of put it off, and you think, oh, and that's the point where I think I've been complacent. Maybe not with my sanitation, maybe with just kind of racking it off, I don't know, and oxidation has happened on some of them. I've become complacent because I've brewed too much beer and I'm not focused on the beer I've brewed, so I've decided to kind of clean slate, bin some of the pants beer that I brewed, and behind me I've got a wheat beer that I'm going to do, and I've decided to do a full volume because I thought, you know, as much as I love the brewing machines and that, I wanted to go back to basics. So I loved the induction hob, loved that SS Brewtech pot because it's fantastic. I'll get up to strike in under 30 minutes, especially when it's a swarm. I think it's about a 50-50 wheat and lager, and I'm just going to ferment it out normally. I'm going to add a wheat beer yeast, but I've got a cherry tree very close to me, which is away from the road. I'm going to get some of them cherries off of there and maybe do a mixture of cherry and something else, but I'm hoping if I can get enough cherry, it'd be a cherry wheat beer. I'm going to rack it to secondary after a week or so and leave it on the cherries and see how it goes. I did a fantastic raspberry wheat beer a couple of years back for an engagement party, and that was still one of my best beers today. And even in the bottle now, I've got a couple that are still quite old. It's a fantastic beer. It's quite tart and, you know, sharp from the raspberries, but really refreshing. And everyone I gave it to loved it because it's kind of an easy drinking beer that even if you're not into beers, you know, most people pick it up and go, that's quite a nice beer, rather than, you know, being too unobtrusive and that. So I've decided to go back to basics, brew in the bag, full volume, overnight mashing. I couldn't get it all. I probably could have got it all in, but I measured it out on Brew in a Bag site, and it said I had about an inch from the top, and I just didn't want to risk it, so I decided to hold 5 litre back, strike with 30, and then sparge 5 litres in the morning. I'll probably do a dunk sparge like Brewmaster Ben's doing, see how that works out, because normally I'm just pouring it over the bag and making more of a mess, so I'm going to go for a dunk sparge in my other pan. Which brings me on to, I'm probably going to sell my other boil pot, which is the 33 litre boiler with the copper hop filter. I did originally get from the malt miller, and I added a Blickman brewmometer, their thermometer type, the dial one, to the pot. A bit like GI Fry's got. It's not the adjustable one, it's just the straight out one. If anyone's interested in a 33 litre pot for brewing in bags or extracts and that, with a fantastic thermometer on it, message me or get in contact and we'll sort something out. So I kind of need to shed some equipment. I want to get a new thermometer for this pot because this is my go-to pot now, and get rid of some of my other pots because I'm getting too many pots and there's not enough brewing going on. I'd rather focus on one system. And for me, brewing the bag is keeping it simple at the moment. I need to go back to basics and get some good beers under me before I carry on. I think that's about it. I've got a few beer reviews coming up, quite a lot from beers.If to review. There'll be some food reviews, some snack reviews soon as well. Also, Cidermeister's Cluty Dumpling. The Cluty Dumpling will get made, I promise. It's the wife assures me now the weather's calmed down a little bit, it's not so hot. She's going to be doing some baking, and we'll get a Cluty Dumpling and do a stout and dumpling tasting together. So, cheers.